I just got back from a trip to Nashville, and hot damn, was it life changing. So I thought I'd pop on here and share those learnings with you. Let's get started. Welcome to the Crazy Ex Wives Club, a podcast dedicated to helping women navigate the emotional journey that is divorce. I'm your host, Erica, and if you're trying to figure out life after the big D, welcome to the club. Whether you're contemplating divorce or dealing with the aftermath or any of the many phases in between, the club has got you covered. Each week, you'll hear stories from women who have been in your shoes. This isn't about spilling tea on divorce details. This is about giving you the tools to take control of your own healing journey. Listen in weekly for advice, tips, and tools to help you move through each stage of the process. Have you ever just traveled somewhere and felt like a completely different person, and then you come home and you're like, WTF, how am I going to line this up? Or more realistically, what we say is, why can't I just go back on vacation? Let's go on vacation again. And we start to spend most of our lives trying to work to get the money to take the time off to go on vacation. So what if you could bring that vibe back with you? Because guess what? Vacation vibes, it's just a frequency. It's just an energy level. It's just a choice in how you choose to show up. And it has nothing to do with the location. And 1,000 times over to do with who you are and how you chose to embrace it. So recently, I was embracing my rock star moment. In fact, last night I was teaching a session of Reclaiming Me. So Reclaiming Me is the signature program inside the club. So not only do we have the live calls, not only do we have the ability to chat and text and message each other all the time for support, but there is a signature program in there and it's called Reclaiming Me. And last night was session 4. So, session 4 is all about finding the frequency of the new you. Not the you who is scared to death that their life will never get on track. Not the you who's worried about where the money's going to come from or how it's all going to work out, but the you that's maybe 5 years down the road looking back at all this on the other side of divorce going, see, I told you it would all work out. I told you not to worry. That you, that frequency, that vibe of who you are becoming. So last night we dove deep into how do you find her? What do you do? Because I think we can all think of somebody who's just magnetic. Do you have that one friend who is always the life of the party and it is always outgoing and laughing and smiling, and you just find her so radiant or so beautiful? And it has nothing to do with her physical appearance, but everything to do with the energy that she chooses to bring into the room. Frequency. Because everything has a vibe, everything has a frequency. Anger has a much different frequency than joy does. And I guarantee you've had the experience, whether it be you or whether it be somebody else in the room. Have you ever been in a room with somebody who's really pissed off? It does not feel good to be in that room. Frequency. So if you're sitting in a place of trying to pick up all your pieces and understand who am I, and it feels absolutely hopeless, it's because all the other momentum of the reality of the pain, the grief, the heartbreak, the things that went wrong, they're currently in front of you. And it's currently the frequency that you're vibing on. It's the frequency that is the habit right now. And so the challenge is to get you to step more and more into the frequency of the new you, that 5-year down the road woman who is looking back and saying, been there, done that, made it through, and I've learned so much. So I recently lived in my rock star vibe. It was my birthday, couple weeks ago. It was my birthday, and we were supposed to be out of town for my birthday. And I had lined myself up to that trip. It wasn't for me. My birthday falls on a big tournament that my partner goes to every year and plays in. And so I know that ahead of time. And so in that way, my job is to line up to how do I make this still feel good and special for me? And I have the choice to not go. You could fly to Denver. You could go be with your girls. You can do whatever you want. Where do you want to be for your birthday? And I was like, well, I want to be with you. So I will line up to where we're going. So I'd picked out a restaurant. I was really excited to go eat there. There was a specialty cocktail I wanted to try. Like I was vibing. I was happy. I was in the frequency of contentment and a little bit bordering on excitement because I was really looking forward to this dinner we were going to have. And lo and behold, he got injured and we didn't go. And so last minute, like Thursday, when we're supposed to leave on Friday, we're talking about, well, what are we going to do? And of course, we can stay in town. We have lots of friends in town. And I just told him that I didn't know what I wanted to do, but being as this was a milestone birthday, staying home did not feel good. It did not feel right to just be like, oh, it's my birthday and we're doing the same thing that we do every weekend and just going out downtown. Even though we'd see fantastic people, I would enjoy the time. It wasn't birthday special. And if you know me, then you know that I really like to make birthdays special. So I asked myself, what would rockstar Erica do? If time, money, effort, if none of that was a problem, what would rockstar Erica do for her birthday? You know what she'd do? She'd get on a plane. So I started looking and I got a little wrapped up and I got a little worried and I got a little sideways and I took a step back and I again said, okay, but what does rockstar Erica desire? Because there's lots of options. We can go to the beach. We can go to the mountains. I looked at Austin, right? Like I was like, oh, where do I want to go? Rockstar Erica was very clear. She wanted the Nashville experience. She wanted boots and cowboy hats. She wanted great music. She had never done the honky tonking. I'd been to Nashville once for work, but when you have a rental car, you are not out drinking. And when you work in the morning, you are not out late at night. And so I had never really just let loose and had the Nashville experience. And that's what I decided I wanted. Started looking at tickets. Wow, lo and behold, universe lines up. A great deal on a flight, a great deal on a hotel. Super amazing. New hotel opened. Really great price. Like all the pieces started falling into place. What was left? I needed to pick out my outfits. So I put together my outfits. I put together what I wanted to wear, what I felt good in, and we went. I chose to elevate my frequency. And now every single day I got dressed, wore what I want to wear, took a little picture, sent it to my girl, said, here's my fit check for the day. How we doing so far? And I just felt fantastic. I felt radiant. Now, we went out to breakfast some mornings, and was I still in like a sundress with some cowboy boots on and my new fantastic bag that I got? Yeah. Even though everybody else was in leggings and sweatpants and whatever else. Yeah. And did I care? No. There was zero judgment. It didn't matter what anybody else was doing because I loved the frequency and the vibe of who I chose to be. And then you come back home and reality hits, right? And so the last story is we were spending our last day waiting for our flight and we were downtown listening to a little bit more music before we were going to go. And he had bought a cowboy hat. And so he had went and invested in a beautiful hat that I love, absolutely love, but I was not ready to do that same investment. And instead, I tried on a goofy hat that's white and has pearls written in it to say Mrs., right? Because who doesn't love a good bachelorette in Nashville? And I laughed. I said, hey, baby, how do you like this? And of course, he's grumbling because as two divorcees, we're very clear that legally we are not getting married again. Not the plan to have that legal document and all of the paperwork associated with it. And so I love to tease him about it. And then I started getting real high vibe and I started laughing about it. And we went and listened to music and we were singing along. And I sent the photo to my girls and I said, do I need this? Because I kind of think it would be hilarious to wear it out Friday night in our small town and bring this Nashville vibe home. And of course the girls said yes, because the hat is very cute, even though it says Mrs. on it. And so I brought it home and I laughed the whole way through the airport and I sent pictures, and I posted about it. I even posted on social. You've seen the hat if you follow me online. And then I got home and reality hit because the next day I had to get up and it was cold. It was 35. It was not 77 like it was in Nashville. And I was just feeling the funk and feeling like I needed to get wrapped up in leggings and sweatshirts because I was cold. And then I started to second guess and think about, oh, well, they're just they're not going to think the hat's funny. And I'm going to stand out and it's not going to be as cute if I'm not in my full little cowgirl, skirt. I had some really fun, cute skirts and things that I wore this last week because it was warm and all that negativity showed up. Has that happened to you? Have you been in your own safety security bubble and been high flying and loving life? And then you start to attach a story of reality of what other people are going to say or think or care. So how come none of that mattered when I was traveling? It's because my frequency was super high. And now my frequency was starting to pick up worry and doubt and anxiety and judgment and who am I stories. And so I wanted to talk about frequency because how do we get to that woman that's on the other side of this chasm that is divorce? We got to find little moments when we're in that frequency, and then we got to work to get it back. So my homework this week, I'm recording, it's Thursday. Tomorrow night is the debut of the hat. And I have thought about all the things like making sure, the friends we have are out so that I feel more safe and I feel more secure. And I get that that's a backup plan. And I get that that's like an okay choice. And I've just challenged myself to stare those fears and doubts down and say, well, who really cares if I love the hat? And who really cares if I'm just having a good time and I'm laughing? And isn't laughter contagious? And so my work this week has been to shift my frequency back up so that I can show up in the full, radiant, confident, beautiful version of myself that I feel. The homework is to always tap into that frequency, figure out where you're at, and then surround yourself with tools to help you rise up. The more you land in that frequency, the easier it gets to find it. The less you care about the judgments and the negative vibes and the low flying frequencies that are out there. And the more you stay in a I don't give a fuck mode, and I'm going to do what I want to do because it makes me feel good. If you're feeling overwhelmed, exhausted from overthinking, and stuck in uncertainty, this message is for you. You don't have to keep feeling that way. Inside the club, you'll find a safe space to rediscover who you are, clarify what you want, and determine how you want to move forward. Surrounded by women who truly understand and guided by expert support, you are not alone on this journey. Join us at thecrazyexwivesclub.com/the club. It's time to reclaim your life. So for you, when you're sitting there and you're looking at this vision of who you want to be on the other side, the challenge for you is to surround yourself with things that feel like what that woman wants and does and needs. So the woman that's 5 years down the road, how does she respond to the text from your ex? The woman that's 5 years down the road and has transformed all of this pain into purpose, how does she show up at a school function with your kids there? How does she handle the holidays? How does she explore her free time? What does she surround herself with in her house? Does everything around you bring that same vibe? I am super guilty. I'm super guilty of shopping on a good sale, even if I don't need it. That is a much different vibe than loving and respecting my money and only investing it in things that are on the frequency that I want to be on. It doesn't mean expensive. It's not what I'm saying. But, my hat was a whopping $38. That's not an expensive hat compared to the $500 hats that were also there for sale. But the frequency of that hat made me laugh, made me smile, made me feel fun and exhilarated. That's what I mean. Where are we putting our money? What are we putting around us to help us stay elevated in this frequency? All right. So if you need to stay elevated in this frequency, there are some tips that I love. Travel is one of the easiest ones. How come we go on a trip and we give ourselves the biggest hell yes hall pass to do whatever we want? We eat dinner at whatever time we want. We wake up whenever time we want. We don't run by anybody's schedule. How do you bring that vibe into your daily life? Yes, I still have to get up in the morning, but I work my day so that I have enough sleep so that I can get up earlier and still feel rested instead of having to sleep in until, oh my God, I think one day I slept until noon. So we can still achieve that same high vibe. It is merely a choice in tapping into the frequency. Now, the other thing I want to say about frequency, because I think we get lost in this a lot, it is not about a matter of time, and it is not about a matter of effort. It is not about how hard you try to overcome the bullshit, nor is it about the number of months that you've been divorced or doing the work. It is about how authentically you are embodying the emotions that you are in right now. It is about authentically embodying the emotions that you are in right now. Frequency is just an authentic vibration of your feelings and where you are at. It is not a fake it till you make it. It is not a let me screenshot a bunch of mantras and tell myself that this is how I should be feeling at this point because it's been 3 years past divorce and how come I haven't gotten over it. That's not authenticity, you guys. That's reaching and that's faking and that's posturing, and that's not going to get you there. It's not time, it's not effort, it's authenticity. So really sit down today and take a look and do a little check. Authentically, what frequency am I on? Listen to the thoughts that are running in your head right now. What do they sound like? Do they sound hopeful? Do they sound like, I know today is hard, but it's one day and I'm going to get through it? Or do they sound negative and despairing, right? Oh my God, I'm never going to get ahead of this. I'm never going to recoup. I'm never going to be able to rebuild. Where are your thoughts on autopilot? Your autopilot thoughts are probably the frequency that you're flying on right now, whether or not you want to acknowledge it. So do a little check. Check in where your thoughts are at. How low or high are they flying? Then I want you to sit down and I want you to visualize, what does it feel like to be the woman on the other side of this? What does it feel like 5 years down the road to know that you made it through? All the drama is done. The grief is done. The pain is done. Like none of that's around you anymore. It's all gone. It's not hanging on your body. What does she feel like? What does she look like? How does she move? What does she wear? What does she eat? What does she do for work? How does she interact with her kids? What is it like when she gets home after work? Who is that frequency? Who is that vibe of who you are becoming? And now you understand, okay, here's where I'm on autopilot, and here's the juicy vibes that I want to get to. And day in and day out, every experience that you build or put yourself through, you ask yourself, did that level me up and move me closer to the frequency I want? Or did it add more negative thoughts on autopilot? The work is not about never having negative thoughts. The work is about understanding and identifying like, ooh, that doesn't serve me. That is not a helpful thought on me getting to the higher frequency that I want to be operating at. And when it's not, then you start to challenge the process, right? So I'm challenging my process. I'm challenging the thoughts that tell me that I should not wear my new cute hat out on Friday night. Nothing has changed. I haven't changed the people that are going to be there. I haven't changed the outfit I'm going to wear. I haven't changed the weather. I wish I could. I wish I could make it warmer on Friday. But the only thing I'm challenging is when that thought that shows up and says, well, they're going to laugh at you. Challenge it. Okay. Do I care? Do I really care if somebody laughs at me if I'm really happy and feel really good and goofy and fun and spontaneous? No, because people could have laughed at me all weekend. I'm telling you guys, I was not always out where everybody was wearing boots and country gear, but I didn't care. I wanted to wear it. Okay. I'll challenge the thought that'll tell me that I shouldn't be doing this, right? Everybody in town wears kind of sort of the same stuff, Erica. You shouldn't be so loud. You shouldn't be so out there. Well, who cares? What if I am loud and vibrant and full of love and fun and laughter? Do I think that it's going to detract from everyone's weekends? No, probably add to it. Because when I'm out traveling and I'm a lot of fun, it creates a heck of a lot more fun for all the people around me. So every single time one of these autopilot thoughts come up that are just old stories from old energy about self-judgment and self-doubt and lack of confidence, I take a look at them. Are you helping me get to the frequency I want to be on? And if the answer is no, then I challenge you. I challenge that thought and I say, I don't think you're true. I think you're trying to keep me small. And I think it's safe for me to be who I want to be. So in the Reclaiming Me session 4, we go into, I think it's about five of my top tools. Travel is one of them. Travel is the easiest way to pop in to like quantum leap, right? Instant leap into the new frequency that you want to be on. Because nobody knows who you are. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see you again. You can show up and do whatever you want. None of those ingrained stories of who you are and the expectations and how you have to be live while you're traveling. So if possible, I highly recommend, even if it's just, doing an Airbnb an hour from where you live, Even if it's just driving down the road for an hour, going to a new town and getting coffee there and talking to people there instead. It doesn't have to be a big financial investment. It just has to be a thing that sets you free. What lights you up? What makes you super excited to go do? What gives you the freedom to authentically step into the full, beautiful, radiant version of yourself? And if you've found her, but you're struggling to keep her, come join the club. Because one of the key pieces of being able to stay in that frequency is who you surround yourself with, right? We know that we're creatures of habit and we fall back into old patterns all the time. All the time we go, oh, this is who the friends are, and this is how I operate in the friendship group, and this is how this person operates, or this is what we talk about. If we don't change what's around us, we cannot change the frequency. So if you're looking at your life and you're saying, God, I don't want to feel like this anymore, but I don't know how to get to that higher frequency because every time I'm around my family, I slump back down. And every time I'm around my friends, I have a certain role I need to play. I'm not saying those people don't love you. They love you. They love you very much. And they like you to show up the way you've always shown up because that's consistent and that's safe. So put yourself around the people who are going to challenge you to expand. Put yourself around the people who are on the rise. Put yourself around the people that say, yeah, it sucked. It knocked me on my ass and I refuse to let it hold me down any longer. Like that is why you choose to join the club. It's not just like, okay, there's a program and okay, there's some calls. That's not what it is. It's about being in the room that helps you fly to the frequency that you are meant to fly at post-divorce. It is about removing all the layers of the doubt and the insecurity and the lack of confidence so that the real you can finally show up and shine. And that's just a frequency, you guys. It's just where we tune our dial to. Just like radio waves, right? Frequency. What is frequency? It's energy translated into something that we can physically see, hear, feel, do something with. We all listen to the radio. Okay, radio airwaves are always transmitting whether or not we have it on in the car. We're always transmitting where we're at. The challenge is, are you flying at the frequency you want to be at? Or is it time to rise? So before we go, in case you're watching on YouTube, I'll put my hat on for you. It's very cute. I'm 100% in the vibe of being able to wear this out on Friday, but I wasn't there when I landed back in town. By about Wednesday morning, I started to doubt being able to wear this out because it's white and it's pearlescent and it's all sorts of crazy. But all week I've challenged myself to not let that stop me and to continue to rise and to continue to show up and be as wild and crazy as I choose to be. So until next week, you guys, I really want you to get clear on what is the frequency. Who do you want to be at the end of this story? Who do you want to be on the other side of divorce? And can you feel her now? If not, I want you to send me a message. Either we'll hop on a quick divorce discovery call. We'll send you away with some resources. I can answer your questions about the club. It's about helping you get the tools you need to maintain the frequency that you're shooting for. I love you guys, and I'll be back next week. And that's it. Another great episode of the Crazy Ex-Wives Club, a podcast for women learning how to heal from their divorce. Tune in next week for more advice and tips to help you figure out life after divorce. And until then, give yourself grace, do the best you can, and know that this is all part of the process.